Hi Bree, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good. The last time we spoke, you touched upon your relationship with your dad. Do you want to go more in depth with that?
Yeah, we could go more into it. Last week I spoke about um, when we played sports, we were very close. So now we're not as close as we used to be.
Okay, now what age did you start playing sports?
Very young, I was 3 at the time, and soccer is like our religion in our family. So it became a natural thing to play soccer with him. He had coached me since I was a kid, since I was very, very young, and that's how we grew as a bond together.
Okay, so that's what you bonded over. Culturally, is it important for your family, or was it just a bond between you two?
Um, the bond was mostly because between us and the rest of the family that played soccer, so we all got along. If there was a discussion about soccer, we would all be included, but um, because we played soccer and he had coached me, there was more of a bond because my sister was too young. She wasn't even born when I started, and when I was 5, then she was born. So it took another 5 years before she started playing.
Now, when did he stop coaching you? When did this?
Right at the time when were actually, my father had lost his job when I was in 8th grade,
Okay.
and I was going into freshman year of high school, and I was going to play this high school team, and I had, after that year, decided our Millstone team broke up because everyone was going different places, so I went to a different soccer team where he wasn't coaching me anymore. So that relationship was separated a little bit.
Okay, and do you feel that you not playing the sport is what essentially separated the relationship, or were there other environmental factors that kind of worked into that at the time?
I think mostly because I stopped playing this. Like, I didn't stop playing, but by the time I was 16, 17, I decided that I wasn't going to go to school for soccer anymore. Like, I wasn't going to play D1. I had an injury during a college showcase. I had the scholarships to go, and he was like, go, go, go. But because to me, schoolwork and jobs are more important than playing soccer, and he wasn't living with us anymore, it wasn't the same. That was my decision based on myself. So I think he is mad that I made the decision because I know and he knows that I probably could have gone much farther with it.
Okay, so sports kind of created a bigger issue in a sense, um, relating not only to your relationship with your father, but with school, with career choices. Am
Yeah,
I
I
hearing
guess
that correctly?
yeah, you said a different viewpoint. I see exactly. Like when I was in high school, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do because my family is business, and they said, business, 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 and they always had an interest in people, art, and fashion. 3 things that don't make business money. So that became an issue as well when I said I wasn't going to play soccer, which could make a lot of money, or referee or coach or work in the MLS because I had opportunities to, and I decided against it to follow what I wanted to do, and he doesn't like that.
Okay. Now, is do you feel that you and your father have different values? Maybe that kind of affected your relationship?
Yes, I think so because soccer is, like I said, like a religion practically to him. Like that's what makes him happy. But for me, what makes me what I enjoy to do is working with children or volunteering, and that's what makes me happy, as you could say. It's over sports. Like I enjoy sports. I like to do sports, but it's more of a free time. Like it's not something I want to continue for the rest of my life and only do that. And he's the complete opposite. He coaches, he referees, he even does teaching, which is more of like a coaching aspect.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing is that his passion is soccer, and he saw the potential maybe in you, and that drove him to bring out his career choice or passion in you, but it wasn't the same choice.
Yeah, pretty much. He wanted me. I love soccer. I still love soccer to this day. But when I had become injured, I made the decision to focus on work. At the time I was saving up for a car because they weren't going to pay for one. So I decided to work full time in school, and he didn't think that I should have been doing that. He thinks that I should have decided to just play soccer and not go for school, just go for sports and marketing and stuff like that because I was good at it. But being good at it doesn't mean I like it. And he didn't see it that way.
So essentially, he was putting your talent before your passion.
Exactly.
So how did that make you feel?
It's a good thing in a way, like he knows that he could see my talent and he could push me towards that, but he doesn't. But because I don't want to do that, and that's what hurt our relationship, it's kind of disappointing. But it is what it is. It's not a big deal, I guess, to me anymore. I mean, growing up, it was a bigger deal because I was only in high school, or beginning of high school, and now to me it's been a couple years, so it's not a big deal anymore.
Okay. Do you guys still have a relationship, or was this incident the end all be all, or?
There's much more aspects to it. We don't speak anymore. I mean, I'm also going to school. I also work full time. I do the internships as well. So there is no time. So I think the last time I saw him was at Christmas on his side of the family.
Okay.
So that's the only time when I speak to him, really.
Now, does family, besides your father, play into the relationship with your father? Like your mother or your younger sister, did they directly or indirectly affect that relationship?
My mother was separating from my father my freshman year of high school, so at the time my dad didn't have a job, so he was, it's a rough time for any family separation, no job. It didn't affect me as much, but it affected more, my mom was struggling, so like I said, when I decided to work more, it was not only to help myself, but to help my mother. So during that time, she had decided, we're going to live by ourselves. So when we had did that, there wasn't that much communication as it is because it had me the time and effort to make a phone call.
Do you think that experience with seeing your father lose his job and your mother have to go through money struggling issues, did you think that made you kind of lean more towards a career that was more trusting rather than a sports career, which can be...
I've always known I wanted to do the career I'm going into since I was a kid. I used to tell my mom when I was a kid, I want to be a therapist, a teacher. I used to tell her, and at the time I didn't realize there was a whole career choice. You just don't, major in therapy most of the time. So I think it doesn't have much to do with it, but it does have, I would like to see people, I think that's why I want to work with children, because I want to work with them and make sure they have a role model in their life.
Okay, so you feel that, would you say when you were younger your dad was considered your role model, or?
Yes, my dad at the time. I was more relationship with him than my mother at the time.
Okay, so you essentially, let me see if I'm stating this correctly, you want to provide that comfort for a child in ways that your father did when you were younger, but maybe just in a different manner, like not in sports, maybe helping children with other things, such as...
I want to make sure that they're okay, like they don't need someone, they can still be who they are without a father figure, mother figure, family figure, like kids who don't have families can still do better and not have to be a statistic and go into, not go to college or get into drugs or something.
Okay.
Kind of have that role model.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you, in a way, want to give kids independence from a young age, so while forming relationships, it's not more like, you're my role model because we have this in common, or you want to make them more independent and their own person?
If they don't have a family or something, correct, yeah. I mean, if they have their family, but I'm talking like kids who are abused or something, they don't need to be in that relationship. They can be okay without being in a bad relationship or without having a father or something, or mother or sister or, etc.
Okay. Very interesting. Well, it sounds good, and I'm glad we met today, and I will see you next week.
All right, thank you.
Wow, that was literally 10 minutes.